A number of important case studies were presented at this year's Global Sustainable Events Summit to give delegates a real insight into sustainability in action. And I'm talking to one of the presenters, Heather Leigh from United Events. Heather Leigh, you're from United Events. Tell us a little bit about your organisation.
Well, United Events is the conferencing and events division of Manchester United. So we look after all of the non-match day events that happen at the stadium.
Okay, that's great. Now, you've been doing a case study here today at the Global Sustainable Events Summit. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, the case study is around how we've communicated our sustainable practices in the club to all our stakeholders. So, for example, one of the examples we give in the case study is around our Reds Go Green initiative, which was started out as an internal communication engagement process, which was very much around helping people not just become generally aware of sustainability, but go on that journey from becoming generally aware of sustainability to being top of mind awareness, to having accountability and taking action and making difference. And so we've had champions, sustainable champions, and that's from a complete cross-section of staff, from operations right up to director level, working together in their business area to say, okay, how does sustainability weave into our business objectives? What we don't want is sustainability to be a bolt-on agenda or a bolt-on initiative. And so the Reds Go Green has been a fantastic success in terms of helping people feel accountable, responsible and engaged with sustainability. And so the case study shows examples of how we rolled that communication out, and then looks to how we're now looking at fan engagement with sustainability and how we can start to engage with fans who come and experience the stadium to become on board and get that sense of ownership and belonging to sustainability. Because at Manchester United, we work as a team on and off the pitch, and our fans and our followers are part of that team. And so we want to engage them in the team activities and the business-wide activities.
That's quite interesting, actually, because you're now spreading it kind of among your customers, because that's essentially what your fans are. So you're actually trying to make them greener and get them to understand sustainability and how important it is. I mean, that is fascinating in itself. And going back to the staff element, I mean, how easy was it to get people's buy-in? Was it something that once it had started, it kind of accelerated? And do you think it had like a motivational benefit?
Definitely. I think it completely snowballed. And what was very important was that we got massive buy-in at board level at Manchester United. And, you know, the communication needs to be top-down and bottom up, as in all organisations. But I think with something like sustainability, you do need that endorsement right from the top to say, this is really fundamental to this business and this is really fundamental to what we're trying to achieve. And through that and the cross-sectional working of across the teams and the businesses to get lots of people at lots of different levels of the organisation championing together, creating these work groups, really helped to create that sense of engagement. And there was lots of other benefits that came out of it. You know, there was lots of FaceTime with directors that people perhaps wouldn't ordinarily get on a subject that affects the whole of the club. And so that in itself motivated and gained momentum. And actually, you know, the changes that we make, they're fun and they're easy. And I think it's about making sustainable activities feel accessible, and it's not a big strategy that you have to sit in a room. It's actually quite simple actions that have a massive impact that everyone can do, and that's how accessible sustainability is, and I think we've proven that with that initiative.
And of course, when you're rolling it out within your fan base, that's you going into the community. So on a CSR level, you're also delivering. In fact, you could arguably say that the two Manchester clubs, United and City, which is my team, do so much within the community now around Manchester that actually organisations outside of football, because obviously football clubs are criticised quite a lot on lots of different levels, can actually learn from organisations like United, like City.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, sustainability isn't just about the environment and energy. It's about your corporate social responsibility. It's about community cohesion and engagement. It's about the economy and the impacts you're having there. And so I think, you know, we're at a point now where we're looking at that fan engagement. The Manchester United Foundation is very much the corporate social responsibility arm of the club and does a lot of charity work and community engagement within schools, community groups to make that difference. And so we've got a great platform there to get that message out around sustainability from the very young. We've already engaged with schools. The Manchester United Museum is working with 6 schools across the region with children in the schools around actions they can take to be more sustainable and relate that back to the club and what we're doing and get that joint sense of ownership and belonging. And then the Red Cafe at the stadium itself, there's about to launch an initiative there, a pledge campaign which I know there's a pledge campaign going on today at the event itself, where we're asking our visitors to the cafe to pledge to do an action, take an action, and we'll keep them accountable to that and keep them engaged. So it's a good way of engaging with our customers in ways that are important to Manchester United away from football as well, which is just as important.
So it's really, as you were saying there, it shows how key sustainability can be to engage with stakeholders and get closer to your customers, which of course that's the future of business these days, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about engaging them with the things that you care about. And they need to care about that as well. And people do care about it. I just think people perhaps don't feel like it's very accessible, or they're not sure what they're doing and need that guidance and that encouragement and that motivation. And if we can share that, we will. And like I say, we're a team on and off the pitch. And our followers and our fans and people who visit the stadium and the wider community group, we work in partnership with so many groups outside of the club that it is a real team effort. And if we can influence and engage and utilise the voice that we have within a sustainable context, then we'll do it.
And of course, when you have that sustainable platform within the organisation, it'll just automatically filter out into all the events you do.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this, like I say, it's woven into all of our business areas. So from our catering, our museum, the Manchester United shop, the non-match day events that we hold, sustainability is at the forefront of that. In terms of within our offices, none of us have any bins at our desks. We have one central recycling point, the printers that we use, and how we talk to our customers, especially people who are coming for events on a non-match day. It's about getting it top of mind for them and saying, well, have you thought about using electronic feedback forms rather than paper feedback forms? And do you want to use the more sustainable printer rather than bringing in your own and reeling off lots of handouts? We're trying to find ways to enable people who come and hold events at the stadium to do it more sustainably. I mean, we're ISO 2012-1 accredited, which we got through the Olympic journey we went on in the summer, and we held some Olympic matches there. And that accreditation really helped us to look at where are we at and where do we want to get to. And so much of the ISO accreditation is around accountability, is around sharing your learning, is around gaining learning from others as well. And I think that's really helped us focus in terms of how we're communicating about sustainability to the wider communities of our supply chain, community groups, schools, everyone who comes into touch, into contact with Manchester United.
Sounds fantastic, Heather. Thank you very much for talking to me.
Thank you. Cheers.